considered myself a very attractive youth. When I look in the mirror every morning, I see a man with eyebrows of steels, cheeks of smouldering intensity, and eyes that could pierce their way through iron. I see a man who stands up to challenges and a man who is basically perfect. This is a contention I've held with myself throughout my life, but recently I've had it challenged. In fact, yesterday I had it challenged. At the social event for the AIDPSC competition, you might be familiar, we talked in groups with people from other schools. We shared our opinion, our thoughts, and our beliefs, and we learnt from others. I had a conversation with a number of boys throughout the night, and I remember one instance very clearly. We were talking about something mundane, but the conversation was hijacked and it turned to me. One guy who I hadn't previously spoken to before raises his eyebrows, points his finger, and says, "Oh, mate, you literally look like that ugly Snapchat filter." Ouch. I didn't really like that at the moment, and I just thanked him and moved on, and I realised I'd made a mistake. Because my contention for today is that in talking and in providing his opinion, he was exercising his right to liberty. I've recently decided, as of last night, we don't need liberty. We've seen this throughout society and the world where people just don't need to voice their opinions. We see this in the schoolyard every day, particularly in myself in year 2. I was not good at maths in year 2. I was frequently reminded I was not good at maths in year 2. As an extension of this, we look at this throughout broader society and why liberty does not always need to be exercised. We can see this in the world around us and in the adults who investigate and infiltrate the forums in our lives. We see this through social media. Because I tell you that the liberty of the animals and adults posting in the social media forums, in the annals of Facebook, Instagram, and X, I tell you that they don't need to post. I tell you that when they say this, when they make these comments about groups in society, none terribly intelligent, none terribly intellectual, but all terribly hurtful, we don't appreciate this as a society, and it's a net negative on our world. And so in promoting our liberty and our lives, it's clear that there are limits. There are limits in the schoolyard when you're being mean to your friends, and I tell you that we don't want upset kids. What I've learned throughout my life is that in the annals of Facebook, we'd rather disable comments than having mean ones. But you might ask, what does a world look without liberty? What does it look like? Well, it looks like an authoritarian regime, it looks like an evil world, it looks like a suppressive world, it looks like a world which ultimately isn't much fun. But I don't get hurt by mean comments. And because of this, I think we're willing to take liberty as something we just don't need. If I had realised this last night, I think that really I would have had a different response to saying thank you, to recognising the liberty of another boy. I would have told him to shut up and walked away. So, because I know they're in the audience tonight, shut up. We don't need liberty. And I'd encourage all of you going forward, where you can restrict liberty, restrict liberty. When someone's talking and they don't really know what they're saying, tell them to stop. When someone's expunging their mouth and their thoughts onto you, whether it be online, in the schoolyard, out and about at your workforce, it's really just not something we need, because I'd rather have a quiet society than a mean one, and that's why we need to get rid of liberty.